You're listening to The Building Code. I am your host, Paul Worth. You are listening to episode 95. You may notice we do not have a co-host this time. For all you listeners out there who listened to episode 94, my co-host for many years and 94 episodes, Tom Houghton, gave you a sign-off. Tom has taken another position outside of Buildertrend, which happens with very talented people. So we wish Tom the best. He's got an exciting opportunity in front of him, and he has been a great asset to Buildertrend for many, many years. So all you listeners who love hearing Tech Tom, Hollywood Tom, Tesla Tom, he will be on some airways somewhere, I'm sure. Go follow him at Contact Tom on Instagram, and I'm sure he'll post you there. So great podcasting with you, Tom, and I wish you the best. All right, so we are going to transition to episode 95. If you just clicked on this, it said data science. So stay with us. Don't leave yet. We're going to make this interesting because I'm very happy to be here with my guest, Charley Burtwistle.
Burtwistle, yeah.
Burtwistle.
Super happy to be here, Paul.
Charley, how long you been with Buildertrend?
Coming up on just about 3 years here in January.
And your title here?
Data scientist on the data and research team.
Okay. Buildertrend is about 560 employees strong as of episode 95. I will say you probably have the most exciting name we've ever seen come through the new hire process.
Means a lot.
Had a star on your name right away. You know, it's impactful.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You know,
it was a strange journey to where I'm currently at, for sure.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, because I think I know a little bit about your background, but I'll tease it a little bit. Didn't you reach out to us and just try to get your foot in the door any way you could?
Yeah, pretty much. I heard about Buildertrend my senior year of college and kind of knew instantly it was a place I wanted to work at. Got in touch with David Arnold, and he kind of gave me some advice on things I needed to do to prep to get a job at Buildertrend. Originally, I wanted to be a developer here, so I went and got a whole bunch of experience doing development, which I haven't used since. And
hold on a second. For the listeners who are probably developers, you don't mean construction.
I do not mean construction.
No, what do you
developer.
mean by that?
Software developer. So a lot of coding. Went out and learned a couple different languages that we use here to try to get a coding development job.
Okay, how hard was that? Was that tough to do? Or was that your background before that?
It was a little bit of my background before. That was the career path I anticipated going down. So I came in to interview for that position, and Luke Christensen at the time was the VP of product, and he just kind of had this wild vision for a data science team, and looked at my background. Math and physics is what I got my undergrad degree in. So he's like, hey, we're going to try this data science thing. Like, do you want to give it a shot? We don't have a team or anything yet. And I was like, yeah, it sounds super interesting and hand-wavy.
Wait, what does that mean?
Hand-wavy? It means no one really knows what it means. Super ambiguous. You just kind of wave your hands around like, ooh.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Data science, right?
Okay, cool.
And to this day, I still don't think anyone, including me, really knows what it means, but we're
happy to have you on the podcast.
Talking all about it,
yep,
an expert.
Well, we'll try to zero in on what data science is. It is, as you said, a newer term in technology and in businesses, but I think what we're going to try to do today is explain how it's benefited Buildertrend greatly. And so shout out to Luke and your entire team there. And how we can maybe correlate that to how you could use it in your business as a construction company.
Right, absolutely.
Right? All right, so one interesting thing about you, and many people who listen to this podcast do not live in Nebraska as we do, but Omaha, Nebraska, the big city,
right?
You didn't grow up here.
Nope, I grew up on a cattle ranch in northeast Nebraska.
Okay. And
so Omaha to me is, absolutely the biggest city in the world.
What's the ranch called? All ranches have names, right?
Burtwistle Ranch. Yeah, okay. Check us out, burtwistleranch.com.
All right, shout out.
Register quarter horses and cattle.
We're going to put that in the show notes. You got any gear? You guys got any?
I do have some merch. I didn't bring it with me today. Yeah.
Okay, we'll put it up on the podcast now.
Okay, I'd have to check with our marketing team.
Okay.
I.e. my mom. Okay. She's been working for a while.
All right, I kind of like that though. Can I get a hat?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great. So, Charley, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into data science. Once you got in here, what did you discover? What was it for you?
Right.
So your experience?
At the beginning, it was really just more internal reporting. So how many sales were coming through the funnel every month, really just trying to benefit our internal team as much as possible. When I started, it was just two people, me and my manager. We were under the umbrella of the product team, as I'd mentioned earlier. Eventually, our team grew. It now encompasses data and research. So data is more the quantitative side, the numbers, the nitty-gritty. Qualitative is, interviews, customers research, user experience, stuff like that. So I think we have 13 people on our team now, encompassing, like I mentioned, data and research. kind of both sides, the qualitative and the quantitative sides. And we've transitioned from just internal processes, how can we improve Buildertrend as a company, to really how can we help our customers find value in their own data, as we're doing here at Buildertrend.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, we were 12 and a half years into business. So obviously we had some data around sales and the different metrics that we cared about. Would you say it's safe to say that the data science team was our investment in sort of wrapping that up in a more formal process and allowing you guys to kind of dive deeper?
Yeah, absolutely. The first step in any sort of data science project is really just figuring out what data do we have, and then how can we leverage that to find additional value, and make use of it. So there's definitely, like you mentioned at that time, 14 years worth of data, collecting, I don't know how many customers we had at that time, but just a massive amount of pretty much all things building construction. You think of everything that you enter into the Buildertrend system throughout building a job, and you think of what massive amounts of jobs go through the Buildertrend platform. If anyone in the world should know how to build a home or remodel a house, do any sort of commercial or residential construction, it should be Buildertrend.
Yeah, so you think the people who work at Buildertrend are on the data science team, you guys going to spin off your own construction company?
I don't think that
could be a
is
good
in the near
research
future.
project.
It would be an incredibly good research project.
All right, stay tuned for that. So the data science and research team, you said how many people are they now?
13 people.
Okay. So can you explain maybe from your perspective or anybody from the team, what were some of the biggest impacts you guys have had on the business over maybe the last 3 years?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting team for sure, because you don't just do data science for the sake of data science, as much as I would love to. Really, your projects have to have some sort of value. So most of our overarching themes or missions come from different areas of the company. So we have someone from marketing reach out to us, someone from sales, someone from customer success, saying, hey, we'd like to do this, we'd like to accomplish that, we have this sort of data, how can we leverage that to improve our internal processes? So it's an interesting team structure for sure, because we're not really just coming up with our own projects. It's always people coming to us. So yeah, some big projects or milestones along the way. I think the first thing that I worked on was some sort of churn predictor. So looking at our customers that are using Buildertrend, and as their usage starts to decrease or they maybe start to run into issues, that would trigger a flag for a rep to reach out to them and just make sure that everything's going along smoothly. If they need any help, any additional resources that we could provide to them, we're able to proactively reach out to them to get them back on track before they slip away and end up canceling their subscription.
Right. So Buildertrend's basically classified as a software as a service, right? So
Correct.
that basically means you pay month to month to use Buildertrend, but there's no contract, so you can walk away at any time you want for whatever reason. In this industry, with such a low tech adoption construction and so many variables, seasonal work, employees leave and go or come and go, there's a number of different reasons where a company who uses Buildertrend may find themselves in a spot where, hey, we don't want to continue using it right now, maybe in the future. What you're saying is that you looked at the usage of the product, how many times they started a schedule, what features they were using or were not using, and you were able to predict a company that may be sliding towards that spot where maybe they're not getting the value out of Buildertrend, or maybe they're going to that place where they may not be using it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing you mentioned too was maybe perhaps they have an internal employee leave.
Right.
That's something, they'd remove their login from Buildertrend. And then obviously their rep would then need to know, like, hey, there's additional people that need onboarding. We want to make sure that that employee leaving for them doesn't impact the way they use Buildertrend.
Right. I mean, in an ideal state, Buildertrend would have 16,000 employees, one for every client we have, so we could give that personal attention, right? That obviously doesn't scale economically. And so essentially we have employees who are in charge of a book of business. Their whole job is to make sure that their book of clients are getting the most value out of Buildertrend, right? And so they're reaching out to them a number of different ways, but that's impossible to know where every single company is, within their business. And so basically the data science team in your project were basically hitting light bulbs where, hey, this company may need us to reach out. Let's find out what's going on. Let's engage them more in the system. I mean, in general, if you're in construction, Buildertrend solves issues for you. So it's not necessarily that, it's maybe where they're at in their life cycle of their company. Something's going on in their business that they're not getting the full value out of it.
For sure. Our customer success team is amazing. I was listening to your episode you had with Marge Haley earlier this week, and I think you stated it the best, is like they don't just have one customer they're focused on. Their book maybe 400 customers any given day. So it's really just up to us to sort and kind of rank those customers by who needs outreach, who's doing fine just on their own, who's finding value, who could find more value, and really just help prioritize that queue for our reps.
Yeah. I mean, I do appreciate you shouting the customer success team, but I feel like you also just tried to butter me up a little bit there.
Yeah, just letting you know I listened to episodes.
Okay,
I did my
sure.
research
No,
before coming on.
I caught that. And I appreciate it too, Charlie. Very, very smart. Okay, so the data science team obviously has been really, really helpful for our business. And it's if you follow SaaS, our industry, you can see that data science becoming more and more integral in everybody's business. How do you see that correlate to our clients, maybe our listeners? Is there something that they could be, without having the resources to spin up an entire team and find a genius in the making in small town Nebraska and bring them on board to help save their company like we did with you? What can a construction company do, maybe just to start thinking about data as a way to help drive insights into your business and become more efficient in different areas of your business?
Yeah, absolutely. What I made reference to earlier, were really the first step of any data science project is just realizing what data you have. Mm-hmm. A cool thing about using Buildertrend to run your business is you now have access to a ton of data points that you didn't previously have access to. So we have some built-in reports, if you're not already utilizing those, that have a ton of really, really interesting data points, lead activities by salesperson, lead status by source, so where you're getting leads from, mm-hmm. as well as estimated versus actual cost, baseline versus actual, things like that, schedule slippage. Those are already pre-built in Buildertrend, so definitely take advantage of those. But another really interesting feature that we've seen clients find huge success with when it comes to just tracking data is custom fields. So just, on a lead, create a custom field, or in schedules or anything like that. Any data point you want to start tracking is easy enough to just create a field and start tracking that. And then you can watch over time where that's trending towards, or where you can find value. And I think you'd be really, really shocked to see all the different places that data can be beneficial to you and your business once you just start tracking it and start looking at it on an everyday basis, because it's really something that before using Buildertrend, it would be kind of impossible to have.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to get to that. So I guess taking a step back, when you guys stepped into the data science team here at Buildertrend, you were spinning that up. Did we have the right processes in place or data in place, or have you guys been working on getting us better systems behind the scenes as well?
A little bit of both. Definitely had a plethora of data that we already had access to that was set up and ready for us to start analyzing. Mm-hmm. But then, like I mentioned, once you kind of start thinking in that data mindset, you start thinking, well, what if we tracked this? What if we were able to do that? So definitely another huge shout out to our internal team here. We come to them with requests pretty much constantly of hey, can we set this up to track this data point? Where can we build something where we can start, surveying customers and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Good. So the first step for somebody who wants to better understand their business and use those insights to obviously improve their business, whether that's revenue or being more efficient, you've got to be able to start tracking it. So that mindset of just not having everything out there but putting it somewhere is good. If you're listening to this and you have Buildertrend, you had mentioned we have some built-in things. By using Buildertrend, that is sort of your operating system for your business if it's used correctly. So we've got some things built out into reports, right? So you'll find your reporting tab. If you don't see that, just contact your customer success coach or anybody at Buildertrend. We'll spin it up for you. But one thing we've had for many years, even before our reporting tab, and the reporting tab was our effort to sort of corral all this information that we learned companies like to see in Buildertrend. We really surface it pretty easily for them. We've had custom fields forever. So if you're not using custom fields, check out the Help Center, grab, search custom fields, and our team will reach out to you and we'll show you all about it. So this is essentially, we serve 4 basic segments in construction, right? So that's, new home builders, remodeling, renovation companies, commercial construction, and specialty contractors. And if you're a business like Buildertrend serving that many different styles of companies, you can't pre-build everything perfectly for every single type of company. So we've got these custom fields. So if you have something special to you as a business, like for instance in the lead process, let's say you have 5 questions you like to ask every lead. Well, if we don't have those things built in for you as fields, you can custom build them yourself. Are you pre-approved? Maybe you have a rating system when you talk to a lead 1 through 5. Maybe you want to have a field for referrals, and where do they actually get the referral? You want your own custom sort of settings in there. You're saying not only can you easily build those things in every aspect of Buildertrend where it applies, but you can easily report on those things as well. So essentially custom fields is custom reports.
Yeah, and that's another great kind of parallel to what we did here at Buildertrend. Is just once you're able to start tracking those fields, I'm sure you already have a pretty decent idea of what that looks like on the back end. Like maybe we do better with a certain type of customer, or pre-approval, maybe we do better here or there. When we first started the data science team here at Buildertrend, is we had a lot of those assumptions already in the back of our mind. We do better with this segment. We make more money with this type of pro service or something like that. And when we started tracking that data and actually reporting off of it, we were able to prove out some of those assumptions, and we're also able to prove some of those assumptions wrong. So yeah, just the first step is tracking it, and I think you'd be pretty shocked with what you may find or not find just from analyzing that data.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I think that in your life cycle of your business, and I know we went through this with Buildertrend, a lot of the decisions you're making are based on gut and what you see. Your perceptions can be swayed a million different ways if you don't really have it in data. And to your point, you're probably right. If you're successful, you've probably got a good gut for you and your business and who you are. But I'm sure there's some crazy things you find. Maybe those assumptions are wrong, or maybe there's just different insights for you. So a couple things within Buildertrend, and so the life cycle of a construction job, leads makes a lot of sense, right? You get new people who contact you. You should identify how they found your name, right? So that's an easy one. You get 100 people contacting you in a year. Find out where your most lucrative channel of marketing comes from and spend more time and money in that channel marketing, right? Easily tracked within our reporting tab. That's what you reference when it comes to leads and source. Your source, your lead. The other one I see a lot of companies take advantage of is in scheduling. Scheduling is kind of the backbone of every good construction project. And within our scheduling tool, you can set the baseline, right? And that basically means that if I've got a 100-day schedule and I've got it mapped out, and that's the ideal schedule when we start the job, let's take a snapshot of that. And inevitably when schedules change, because that always happens in construction, our system is going to automatically, behind the scenes, track every change for you. And throughout the job, and very importantly at the end of the job, when you do sort of like a job autopsy, you understand where you got from your 100 days to 150 days. And if that's consistently happening in your business, well, then you've identified an area of improvement, right? So those are really easy ones. And really, I think anything else you guys, a company can think of, if they contact our team, I think we can show them a way to either do a custom field or a report to help them identify that stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so data science sounds really exciting. You're 3 years in. How do you feel about it?
I'm really excited the progress we've made for sure. Like I mentioned, growing the team from just kind of 2 people up to 13 has been pretty excited. I'm also super pumped about the direction we're heading. A lot of cool things coming down the pipeline, and we're kind of expanding the umbrella of things we're working on, like I said, from internal processes to really trying to help the customers find more value. So something we're really excited on right now is like lead scoring and just knowing when to offer customers different pro services to help them find the most value they possibly can out of the system. So as you're well aware, and hopefully a lot of our customers are, is we, in addition to our core subscription, we also offer a ton of different pro services. You can find them in the Buildertrend marketplace.
Charlie, what's that?
The Buildertrend marketplace is kind of your one-stop shop for anything Buildertrend. So you're utilizing it to the best of your abilities right now. I'd highly recommend going out there and checking out what else we offer.
Yeah.
And the pro services are really something that we're trying to pump right now, but in the right way. So what we need to do is we need to analyze what sort of customers are in a part or a spot in their business when they're ready for something additional. So a couple ones that have been pretty exciting to work on is payment processing, and BRI are a couple that I'd like to dive into a little bit.
Okay, so pro services is something that the aforementioned David Arnold, who is our chief strategy officer.
Big time.
I mean, he got you into this business,
Yep.
So wow.
He was on the pod as well, too.
He's been on our podcast, yes.
Listen
Nice.
to that episode.
So David Arnold, one of his first things he did here at Buildertrend was essentially lead our team in developing these pro services. And essentially, for anybody who doesn't know, our core subscription is what you pay your monthly fee to Buildertrend, right? It's the operating system for your business. It's how you manage leads, it's how you do project management, it's where you keep all your files and communication, and obviously where you do your financial. And then what we've found is that we want to serve our clients outside of the core subscription. We have 16,000 plus clients. There's a lot of commonality in what they need outside of the core of Buildertrend. And so what David Arnold's team has done over the last few years is really identify those opportunities, reached out to different partners in the industry, and created some some partnerships where it benefits you to become a Buildertrend client. One of those you had mentioned is payment processing. So I want to go into that and how the data science team maybe helped in that aspect. Another one's BRI. So Builder's Risk Insurance is an insurance that certain type of construction companies need during the process of construction. And it's a really exciting one. It's one of my favorite ones because essentially we pooled the Buildertrend clientele and worked with a provider to offer an exclusive rate. And you could actually, we surface that right inside the job when you start a job. And so it makes it really easy to actually bind a Builder's Risk Insurance policy, have all the information right there, and hopefully, and not guaranteed, it gives you a competitive rate, maybe one that you're not getting right now. Is that right?
Yeah.
So within BRI, so we have these pro services, and a lot of our clients find them on their own because they go out to the Buildertrend marketplace, or they talk to our customer success team, and we say, hey, by the way, we have this, check it out. But not everybody knows about those. So was that part of your project to maybe surface it to our clients or to our customer success team to say, Joe construction company just started a job. He's this perfect profile for Builder's Risk Insurance. It would benefit him. Call him right now.
Yeah, so exposing those pro services to our clients, but at the right time. So the right clients at the right time, the right content. Mm-hmm. There's nothing more annoying than getting a million marketing emails every single day with various different things that people want you to sign up for. And I think our marketing team has done a fantastic job creating content and kind of highlighting some of the pro services that we offer. So with the BRI one specifically, we could easily send out a blast email to all 16,000 clients that we have, say, hey, sign up for BRI. But the fact of the matter is it just won't be a great fit for some people. Mm-hmm. So specialty workers may not need it. Remodelers, it's really primarily in the new home segment. Mm-hmm. So that's an easy data point right there. Is like let's filter down BRI leads to just people that actually need it. But then we can get even more in the weeds of like, okay, when do they need this? Mm-hmm. So, they need it when they start a new job and they start building up and they need risk insurance for their house. So we're obviously not going to bother them with marketing when they're in the middle of a build. They'd already have BRI by that point. We're also not going to bother them with it when they're in the off season and they have no need for, a new policy at that time. Mm-hmm. So just with those two data points alone, we're already filtered down to the right builders at the right time. And that's when we can start offering these different pro services, BRI specifically, because that's when they'd find the most value from it.
Okay. I love that. So not only are you not bombarding our clients with unnecessary marketing messages, but it's helping our team spend their time efficiently. Right?
Yeah,
As
that's the goal.
About, they've got a book of business, and their whole job and their whole goal is to help our clients out as much as they can. So you can't blast everybody with every marketing message, essentially what you're saying.
Yeah. You water down the value that you're providing if you're doing that for
That's
everything.
Great. That makes a lot of sense. One thing, when you talk about right message, right time, or just knowing when it's time for you to contact somebody, if you're one of our clients listening and you're using our lead tool, within our lead opportunities, you can create marketing messages, right? Emails can be dialed up in Buildertrend and sent out sort of on a schedule that you want them to. But if you dig further than that, many people don't know this, you can actually put a link in an email. So what's your website for your farm?
Oh, BurtwhistleRanch.com.
Okay, so let's say you're marketing BurtwhistleRanch.com to 1,000 people, and you put that link in the email. Within Buildertrend, you can actually see when your leads click on that link. So that would be the right time to call somebody, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
so,
strike while the iron's hot.
So there you go. So a takeaway for all our clients, if you're using our lead tracking tool, if you're not, you should be. And if you're using it and you're creating messages in Buildertrend, email messages, put a link in there to your website, and you can actually get set up to be notified when somebody clicks on that link. Probably a pretty good time to call them. Maybe they're ready for that conversation.
Right. Absolutely.
Perfect. So BRI, that makes a ton of sense. That's a win-win for us because it's something that we're giving them something that at a great rate most of the time, and also something super convenient for them. And so the other pro service you talked about was payment processing. Now, this is one of our most popular ones because it's actually one of the most longest term pro services we had. Essentially, that is the ability for our clients to electronically pay their subs and vendors and get paid electronically. Is that right?
Yep, nailed it.
Okay. So that obviously makes a lot of sense. I mean, it eliminates the need for cutting checks. It eliminates the need for every Friday your subs and vendors coming in and getting checks from you and those conversations happening. It seems like a big time saver. It seems like it makes sense if you're using Buildertrend to automate your business as your operating system. You might as well take that all the way to how you get paid and pay people. So how has the data science team helped that pro service?
Yeah, again, it's really just about finding the right builders at the right time. So what we've really started to dive into kind of just within the past few months here has been the customer journey. So where are they spending their time within Buildertrend? What features are they using? What different pro serves are they adopting? But then also what's next for them? We constantly want them to be finding as much value as they can be within the Buildertrend system and not just kind of settle for how they're currently using it. So when a customer first starts using Buildertrend, there's some really, really quick wins. Like you mentioned, they can set up their scheduling, they can set up their lead process, so on and so forth. What we've identified as kind of the next step, once they get kind of those core functionalities down, to start moving on to some of our financial features. So they can already track all their financials in Buildertrend, their purchase orders, their lead proposals from customers, their customer invoices, things like that. So the next step is really just going from tracking them to actually processing them and collecting that money and things like that through Buildertrend. Mm-hmm. So again, we wouldn't want to push payment processing on a customer if they're not even, at the point where they're tracking their financials, which is fine. Everyone adopts Buildertrend at a different rate.
Right. So again, it's right message, right time. Like, why would we inundate? We've got 26 major features within Buildertrend. This is outside of the pro services you offer. And so sometimes when construction companies come to us, they come to us for a certain reason, but most times they come because they want Buildertrend to help them automate their process, have a place where they actually do everything. So again, it's their operating system. Now, construction, out of all 15 major industries in the world, ranks the second lowest in terms of tech adoption, which basically means our industry is not very used to yet using technology in their business. And so a lot of times we find that if you are looking at Buildertrend and going, yeah, I could use all of these things, but where do I start? And how do I change the workflow within my business? Because that takes time, to unlearn how an entire business does each part of their business. It's going to take time eventually. That's where our team's here. They're experts in onboarding and training and getting a game plan. But to your point, you can't just overwhelm people with everything. And there's sort of a step to learning Buildertrend that we've identified being in business for these 14 years. That's sort of how our onboarding is put together. So essentially you're saying as a company onboards on Buildertrend and uses the features, there's a time and a place for us to introduce, hey, by the way, now that you're really set and level set here on how you're using Buildertrend, you got it ingrained in your workflow with you and your team, this is a great next step for you, is maybe look into, would you be benefiting from online payments?
Yeah, exactly. Trying to force the entire, like you mentioned, 26 features on someone from the start just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Mm-hmm. But we do provide, those services, and contractors would find value from adopting them if it's at the right time, right, the right way.
Right, exactly. And so did you guys basically do the same sort of process where you identified what features a certain business was using, what types of employees they had set up, like what roles they had? Did they have their office manager, their financial manager set up? And you could tell through data just when it was the right time to introduce that?
Mm-hmm. And really when they're first starting to use the financial features is a great time to at least put the seed in their mind of, hey, we offer this payment processing pro service. Because then as they're setting up how they're already using Buildertrend through the financial features, they have that in the back of the mind of where they want to get to, and our reps can help them set everything up so that it'll be seamless when they do eventually adopt that in the future.
That makes a lot of sense. Great. So if you're listening and you're a Buildertrend user, please check out the marketplace. You can find that inside in the top right of your Buildertrend. When you sign into Buildertrend, you can jump out to the marketplace. That will show you everything that we offer outside of your core platform, including every single pro service we have today, and keep your eye out for more that are coming down the pike. There's also some great features in there, like being able to customize your branding in your account and some different things that we offer as a part of your subscription. So those are two really, really cool things that your data science team has helped out internally. Hopefully we explained to the listeners how you can sort of start thinking about using data to help your business. I think we made some pretty good correlations inside Buildertrend. This is exciting. This was a more exciting podcast than I thought it'd be. Data science sounds boring, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't think you pulled out your phone one time and tuned out. So I appreciate you
keeping
your attention. Yeah.
Charlie, maybe we should bring you back every now and then as one of our recurring guests. We can talk data.
That would, honestly, nothing in the world would mean more to me if that were to happen.
All right, stay tuned for a data segment with Charlie and his team. I mean, I don't think you can't hog the whole spotlight. There's a number of talented individuals in our data science team.
Some fantastic people on the team, yep.
All right, we'll offline about who can be next, but we'll definitely bring you back as well. All right, Charlie, well, thanks for coming on and talking to us about data science. It was really, really informative. If you want to learn more, can they just contact you directly? You want to give out your personal? No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe not yet.
Don't do that. Talk to anybody from the Buildertrend customer success team if you heard anything that you guys want to learn more about. Obviously, you can check out the show notes. Buildertrend.com/podcast is the show notes, and you can see all of our 94 episodes previous to this one. Stay tuned for Charley coming down back on as a recurring guest.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, man. All right, everyone. Thanks again for listening to this episode of The Building Code. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Help us grow this community of listeners. Tell your friends, tell your family. We do appreciate it. And if you heard anything that you want to learn more about on today's episode, head out to the show notes website, buildertrend.com/podcast. As always, we appreciate you.